And thank you for staying with us. Our next guest has made a huge impact in serving the residents of the Hunts Point community. This includes feeding over 23,000 people in the South Bronx in New York City. Recently, their church was broken into and several items were stolen during these difficult and challenging times. The question is, how can the community actually come together and assist them? Joining us now to share a little bit more is the founding and lead pastor of Real Life Chruch and the founder and president of the Prodigal Center, Reggie Stutzman. And thank you so much for being with us, Reggie.
Thank you. What an honor. Thank you so much, Daren.
I should say Pastor Reggie. So thank you. But no, listen, I wanted to bring you here to share a little bit about what was going on with you guys. I know obviously you had some great work that you were doing, and that was kind of like impacted by a break-in. But first, let's talk a little bit about the ministry and the things that you're doing in the community. And I know one of those things is making sure that people are actually being fed.
Thank you. Yeah. The Prodigal Center is our nonprofit organization that we formed in 2015 as a pantry and clothing distribution in Hunts Point. And pre-COVID, it was maybe 300 to 400 people a week, just trying to find the need, fill the need that's here in the community. And as soon as COVID hit, of course, our numbers started rising, where we were seeing over 900 people a week. And then, as you had mentioned, since January of this year, actually over 24,000 people have been receiving free food from the Prodigal Center at 709 Tiffany, right here in Hunts Point every Tuesday from 11 to 2. So we haven't stopped, and the need obviously keeps rising. And we don't know what's ahead of us. But we're here to serve the Hunts Point community and even beyond. It's been amazing to even see people hear about us. And we've had people from Manhattan, from Brooklyn, will come all the way to the South Bronx to get the things that we're providing.
Yeah. And recently, as I said in the lead, that your church actually experienced a break-in. Many items actually taken. Talk to us and walk us through the break-in and how'd you find out?
Well, our situation is really different from really any other traditional church. We were meeting in another venue for over 5 years. We're just an 11-year-old church, and so we're a mobile church. We've never had our own building. We've tried over the last 11 years to get into different facilities, and from a rec center to other venue. And so we were in one, and because of COVID, we weren't able to return indefinitely. And so I was doing church online like a lot of people are, and still, having to grapple with all of that. And then there's a home, a two-family home that's right around the corner from the Prodigal Center that the owner came to me, and we were just talking, and I told him our dilemma of having church. And so I asked if we would be able to have church outside. And so he said, sure, no problem. And we actually redid the whole backyard. As restaurant owners have had, all this outdoor dining built. We found a local restaurant that had outdoor dining built for them. And so we had a whole platform built over the backyard of this house. And then we were storing all of our church equipment, sound equipment, microphones, stands, even my pulpit in this house. And then last Sunday, we came to set up. It was going to be a beautiful day to have church outside. And so we went to, sweep out the back and put the chairs up and everything, and then discovered that someone had broken into the house where all of our things were stored and stole everything, even my pulpit and even our offering buckets with our church logo on it. So, it was just one of those things that was like, why would anybody even take a pulpit? But, we've been just trying to stay present in our community and really think out of the box. with having church outside, and then all of our equipment is stolen. So
Yeah. About how much damage was, I mean, in terms of financial, how much was the damage for what was stolen from you?
it wasn't a lot, and I don't want to be overwhelmed by it, or even take advantage of the situation. It probably was about $2,000 worth of equipment. It was just a mobile, um, sound system and microphones and so forth. Um, and so it's more of a heart issue that someone would come in and take all of our equipment when we have been serving the community, having church outside for anyone who wants to come, and then someone would actually cut through the chain that we had over the gate, break through into the house, and take all these things. So I mean, the loss wasn't that great, but it's still a loss, and it's still um, heartbreaking that someone would do this to a church.
How do you, how's the morale, I should say, of your church family, given the fact that they have been known for serving, but then yet and still you find yourself on the other end of criminal vandalism?
Well, to be honest, it has amped us up. It has gotten us even more excited, because ministry, as you know, Pastor Daren, we're on the front line. And there are things that we're wrestling with that aren't flesh and blood. And when we know that things like this happen, we know that we have riled somebody up. And so that only uh, amps us up and gets us more excited that we're doing the right thing. And we're just praying that God would really speak to the heart of that individual or people involved, and that they would really feel, the weight of what they did. And but to be honest, we feel more excited to stay in the fight in Hunts Point, keep doing what we're doing, and God will provide. And not only provide a sound system, but we're believing that through this, that we'll have our own building provided. We'll have beyond what has been lost to be recovered. So we're hoping that we'll even get a building in Hunts Point, and our ministry will become even more impactful for the community.
For people who want to assist your church and the community in a time like this, particularly after that, devastating break-in, talk to us about how people could help. And if they do want to send donations, what can they do?
Yeah, thank you. So because the church and the Prodigal Center are two separate entities, people can visit the church's website, which is reallifechurchnyc.com, and they can click on the giving tab, and that'll send them to our giving link, and that'll help the church recoup what we've lost. And then if people would like to just see the work that we're doing through the Prodigal Center, feeding over 3,000 people every month, and probably climbing, as we know that flu season and COVID numbers are rising. And if they want to volunteer, or they want to donate funds or non-perishable foods, they can go to The Prodigal, and that's PRODIGAL, theprodigalcenter.org, and find out more information about that.
All righty. Pastor Reggie, we got to leave it there, but our thoughts and prayers are with you and your congregation. I believe that things will turn around for good in the end. Keep up what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
All righty, Pastor Reggie Stutzman. Listen, I want you to know, if you want more information about the organization, you can visit the Facebook page at the Prodigal Center, and also Real Life Chruch Bronx. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. We've got more open. We'll return right after this.